Hello friends, Tom Downey here for our preseason profile on the Philadelphia Eagles, aka your defending Super Bowl champs. The team in terms of additions really isn't all that changed, and that's a good thing because they did just win a Super Bowl. Michael Bennett comes in, Mike Wallace comes in, Haloti Ngata comes in, Dallas Goedert. It's very much a similar team with some nice bonus pieces on that defensive line because, well, why not? Now, the Eagles didn't have a ton of money. They're going to have very limited going forward, but this Eagles team is built to last despite some pretty notable losses. I remain a huge fan of Trey Burton, but with Zach Ertz, it just didn't make sense to pay someone that much money. Robinson is a guy the Eagles wanted to keep, but he went to the Saints. Well, Kendricks is also gone. So overall, yeah, the Eagles probably got a little bit worse on paper, plus the losses of the coaching staff. But you're the defending Super Bowl champs. That's what's going to happen. They got guys like Michael Bennett, Ngata, Mike Wallace to add some extra power on offense and defense. It was a fine offseason for Philadelphia. I loved the Josh Sweat pick as well. It's a B- for me. Yeah, it's not the flashiest one, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse for a team that just won the Super Bowl. Onto their preseason schedule. Philadelphia plays the Steelers in Week 1, then the Patriots, and then it's at the Browns and then the Jets in Week 4. We'll zoom in on that Week 3 matchup because, well, it's Week 3. It's the dress rehearsal game. Funny enough, the best team in the NFL versus the worst team in the NFL. So I feel like that was kind of done on purpose there from the schedule makers. Two big things to watch for. A, is Carson Wentz back? And B, how does that linebacker depth look? I'm a little bit concerned about that linebacker core for the Eagles. But we'll start in terms of training camp storylines with Carson Wentz because, of course, he was a borderline MVP candidate, might have won had he stayed healthy all year. When will he be back? Now, Doug Peterson has been non-committal. He says, it's going to be a doctor's decision. I'm not going to make the call. Carson won't make the call. We'll just wait and see. The reality is, at least from my perspective, I think he'll be back for Week 1. He is reportedly ahead of schedule in his rehab, and perhaps most importantly / impressively, he was involved in the OTA 7-on-7 drills. For a guy coming off a blown-out knee, that's pretty impressive to have that quick of a turnaround. Now, he's probably not going to run as much as he has in the past, but I think you'll see Carson Wentz back for Week 1. I just don't know if you'll see him back for the preseason games if the Eagles want to try and take it as slow as possible, or if maybe they want to give him just a little bit of game reps before the season actually starts. So while Wentz is focused on offense, the big storyline / red flag for me is at linebacker on defense. Now, I guess it's all relative in the end because the Eagles won last year's Super Bowl, but I just have a little bit of concern about this depth at linebacker. Bradham and Jordan Hicks are great. They'll be on the field for the most part. Bradham and base packers will be your Sam backer. Hicks, when healthy, is one of the more underrated players in all of the NFL, but it's the weak side linebacker spot. That's what concerns me. Right now, it's going to be Corey Nelson / Nate Geary, maybe a Kruger Hill get some snaps there. But if there are injuries, namely to Jordan Hicks, I'm really worried about that Eagles linebacker depth chart. Now, the secondary and front four is good enough that they can get by with it, but they did lose Michael Kendricks. They did lose some players to injury early on in training camp and OTAs and guys like Paul Warlow, who they signed this year. But it's just a bit of a red flag for me for Philadelphia. It's not a giant one. There are teams with worse linebacker groups out there. But if there's a weakness that teams could exploit, I think it's going to be linebacker on defense for Philadelphia. And then perhaps, maybe most importantly or most debatedly, will there be a Super Bowl hangover for Philadelphia? The reality is it's really tough to repeat in the NFL. It's a parity-driven league. Going back-to-back, no matter how good you are, is really difficult. Look, it hasn't been done the last 5 years, and two of those teams, Denver and Baltimore, have missed the playoffs. Now, I don't think Philadelphia is going to be a team that wins the championship one year and then misses the playoffs altogether, but it is going to be very tough to repeat. The Eagles last year, rightfully so, played up the underdog mentality to perfection. That's not going to work this year. The Eagles are no longer the hunters. They're now the hunted in the NFL. So I don't think they'll repeat, but as we'll get to later, I think they're in good shape to do well in the regular season and a deep playoff push once again. And look at their schedule then here this year for Philadelphia. The Falcons, Bucks, Colts, Titans. Really not a terrible start. It could be better, could be worse. Vikings will be a tough game, same with Carolina and Jacksonville. Of course, you got two games against the Cowboys mixed in there. Rams and Saints in Week 11 and Week 15. Those will be two good matchups to watch. Redskins end the year, Houston as well. Look, we know how good Philadelphia is. This team is built to last. Will they win 13 games this year? Maybe not. They're not going to go undefeated. But there's a reason they have the second best Super Bowl odds in the entire NFL this year at plus 850. And there's a reason I'm picking them to win the NFC East again this year. This Eagles team is built to last. They're not going to go away anytime soon. Maybe they don't repeat, but I do think that Philadelphia is a team that you will see consistently competing in the playoffs each and every year. Not quite at the Patriots, the dynasty era, but they're going to be a pretty good team overall. So let me know in the comments section where you think Philadelphia will finish this year in the NFC East. Obviously, I picked first, but let me know what you guys think. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, folks, at youtube.com/chatsportstv for more NFL and Eagles coverage year-round.